In today's episode, we're sculpting this, which means we're carving this into this. We'll show you how we do it, work some mad detailing magic, recap our sculpture, and dazzle you with breathtaking cinematics. Looking for top 5 entertainment for the next 50 minutes? Then park it right here and stick around. Hey, good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, City Sculptor, and you have made your way back to Pengasas Bay. It's great to have you here, and we're looking in the subject of today's build. That is our downtown. It's our 4th and final installment of our downtown build, and this is where we pull it all together. Oh, cross your fingers and buckle up. We've got a lot of work to do in this space, and we're going to start today by doing a complete waterfront redevelopment. Now, I told you guys I was going to work on the waterfront in a later episode. Well, it's a later episode, and it's time to get it done. We're going to completely reimagine this space, make it a little bit more artistic and a little bit more vibrant. And then we're going to come down in here. We're going to drop in some tall office plazas in here just to bring a little bit more of that, that high-rise and office vibe to our downtown build. And then I've got a couple other things I want to work on too. One is I'm going to put in some office space in here, maybe some office towers there, make a better use out of that pedestrian road that we've got up there, just kind of rework this area. And then I've got a little parking lot down here that I want to turn into a bus station. You can see I've got my little bus station sitting right up here by our train station. I just want to move all of that activity down into this corner so it's a little bit further away. And then it's got a companion bus station we're going to put in right up in here because I also want to move all of that chaos and activity, get the buses and the pedestrians over into this space so that they can make their way down through this crosswalk, if you will, that gets them out of the way, just to kind of clean things up a little bit. You know, I've got a couple other tricks up my sleeve as well. We'll unveil those as time goes on, but I want to make sure that you also stick around to the end because the cinematics are going to be wonderful, I promise. All right, just threw a lot at you. With all that as a backdrop, let's do this. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to redefine what the shoreline looks like. We're going to change it up a little bit, make it a little bit more, artistic. And in order to do that, I need to, first of all, see how far out here I can expand it just temporarily because I want to have a big platform on which to work. And so I'm using that shipping lane. You can see that right down here as kind of my maximum, level to which I can jump out into the ocean. And I'm going to take this up 10 meters. I'm going to put in just a little temporary road here just to act as a kind of a guideline here so that we know how far out we can push this without disturbing all of our shipping that's going on right now in Pengasas Bay. I've got that out there, and now I'm going to come back in with my level terrain tool. I'll take up this brush strength maybe to 75 or so, and maybe even increase the size of the tool. And I just want to grab the elevation that's right there on that road and just push all of this out. We're going to push this out all the way to our little makeshift guideline out here, this road. All right, now we still have clearance for our ships, and we can come back in here and start working on the seawalls and the roads. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to define what the shoreline is going to look like. And what I have in my mind is just this gentle curve that springs off of, if you see my mouse over here on the right side, springs off of here, kind of sweeps out around here, creates a little bit of a loop, and then doubles back in and then comes out here. And then maybe we'll put a pier out over on this side. So in order to accomplish that, I want to come down here with just a gravel road. And you can see that in the center of this couplet, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. Well, we have a middle one here, right? And we're just going to take this gravel road and we're going to start one space beyond the 6 or so that come off of that road down there. And we're just going to come down about 144 meters. And from there, what I want to do is I want to measure back 64. And then I want to use that as my guideline to run out 64. We'll cut this off. We'll cut this off. We'll cut this off. Now, let's just go ahead and start here. And we'll come out 64 here and 64 here. And what that does is it forms up a nice little cross pattern, which will serve as kind of the radii for a circle. And I'm going to also come out here now at a 45-degree angle and go at 45 meters just to create some guidelines for us. So now next up, we need to take this angle here. If you can envision a road that kind of curves and makes its way out along here and then snakes back into there, we're going to depress down the land in there so that I can create a retaining wall, if you will, and, like a little key wall. So I know that I'm about 3 contour lines up above sea level right now, so I want to pick an elevation that's maybe 2 or 3 contour lines below sea level. And then I'm going to use that to push out around here. So we're going to push down here and make our way down along like so, just so we have this kind of circle forming up around this cross pattern. That'll be okay for now. And then I want to have this kind of snake its way down in here and joining in to right about here somewhere. And in order to do that, I'm going to come in here and I'll depress this down and kind of work my way down along here. And my attach point really is going to be this here. So I want to come back in here and flatten this out a little bit, just so it is a nice gentle curve coming out. Yeah, something like this. All right, so now what I can do is I can come in here and start filling in. Oh, you know what? Before I do that though, I need to come over here and just draw a straight line across. So about this far from that road, just draw a straight line across here, because this will also be like a key wall on this side over here. And then as we build our road, we can tidy that up or change that as we need to. All right, very good. So now we're going to put in our road, which is going to serve as also a key wall. And in order to do that, first let's do this. I want to come back in here. I want to carve this back. I want to change that curve ever so slightly. I want that to come back and maybe just dive in there a little bit. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then I want to come in here and I want to delete this road and this one, just to create a space, because I'm going to need to, I'm going to need to curve this back into here to adjoin that. So let's see here. We're going to come out here, curve this back, come out here, bring this up. Yeah, you can see kind of the curved approach that I'm going for here. And in order for us to connect that, I want to use the widest road possible, which would be an 8-lane divided road. And I'm going to start it right along here. I want to go up 5 meters, and I'm going to turn off my snap to guidelines. I'm going to start it right up along here. And what I'll do is I'll just use a simple curve. Now we're coming out at a 45-degree angle roughly from this road here, right? And we're going to come out to about there. And then I'll just bend that back out here. Try and get them roughly the same length. Is that going to work? It's going to be close, 184. And I want to make sure that the angle of incline or decline is as close to 0 as possible. So like right about there. And then I'll take this, I'll turn this snap to guidelines back on, and I'm going to turn the snap to zone length off and see if I can hit the center of this road up here. There we go. Now we've got it. All right, so now with that first road in place, we can start the work of coming around and spinning it around the circle and blending it into a nice straight line that runs along here. I'm going to start by making sure that I've got plenty of clearance here for our road. I want to bring this out. We have to get all the way around this circle. And I want to make sure that that's out to about there, because I think this is about, something like that. Yeah. And then I'm going to come back over here and just make sure that this is nice and straight. We'll bring it out from that road from Amity Street, just nice and straight. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to dig that out just a little bit, just to give us a little bit more space down there. All right, with those in place, let's work on spinning this road around this circle. Sit tight. So with that curve in place, now I want to come in here and I want to connect a nice straight road into this little part right here. All right, so let's put in a straight road here, and we'll just come off of this, of this main street up here, about so far. We got to bring that up to an elevation of 5 so that we engage our key wall. In fact, I'm going to bring it up maybe 6.5. Let's just see what comes up with that, or 6.25, I should say, and just see if there's an elevation difference between these two roads. I want to make sure that they're roughly the same height. It appears that they are. All right. So in order to connect those two, that's a pretty sharp little curve there. And I want to do that by, first of all, downgrading the road. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select my pedestrian street. I want to make sure that I've got this set up so I can just replace this and remain, let's see if I can go four squares off of that main road, and then I'll just replace all the way around here. So let's start with this one here. There we go. Now I should be able to bend this road into there and hopefully be able to maintain that retaining wall on the exterior. So I'll have to probably mess with this terrain just a little bit. Maybe something like that. And then we'll come in here and use my continuous curve. I want to come out and bend that around. There we go. Now we've got our retaining wall in place. All right, so from here, now we want to connect down this, down this shore a little bit. And I think the first thing I need to do is I need to maybe get 40, 50 size brush size, level terrain tool, capture that elevation. And I need to, I need to capture this elevation first and just push things out so I have room to work. And then capture the lower one and then come back in here and really kind of just carve this out so it comes right out down here. Because I want this road to serve as kind of the external point, if you will, for a pier that comes out. And if I come up 5 meters and draw this out, let's see how far I can draw this out. Look at that, it's still nice and flat. All right, so that would be the exterior of one side of the pier. And now I can push out this way. So now let's drive that pedestrian wall out along here. Just make sure that it stays fairly level. We're gonna have to come out just a little bit more though with this. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. But before I do that, maybe I should just come out from this side here and see what I get when I go into that corner. There we go. That's a good, good flat piece there. So now I can connect this down across here as long as it remains flat. There you go. And now you have the makings of a pier. Very nice. So now we've got all of that in place and you can see what the shoreline is going to look like. You've got this curve that comes out here and then spins this little arc, comes down into this curve, makes a nice straight wall coming across here, juts out in this kind of pier configuration. And then what I'll ultimately end up doing is putting in some docks down in here because this could make a nice little, like a little pleasure craft harbor down in here just to have, keep up with that nautical theme here in Pengasas Bay. Let's turn our attention to some of these other blocks that we've got here. All right, let's start down in this space over here. Before we start establishing our blocks, though, we should probably reestablish our road network. And I want to do this by, maybe coming right off of this and drive this straight down until I get to this road here, this pedestrian road. And then I think I want to take this one here and just bend this maybe down in to intersect there. So you've got a kind of a funky little intersection. And then let's take this road here and upgrade that to a car road by, let's turn off our snaps by coming in here and maybe just kind of go something like that. And again, something like this. Yeah, well, that should look nice. And then the other thing we need to do is we need to maybe change this road as well. I want to change this to a 3-lane symmetrical here. Yeah, it gives us a little bit more space in there and really gives us some consistency along this road. I can come back in and turn off those stoplights and so forth, but it should allow for traffic to flow pretty nicely down around this couplet. So now we can come back down into these spaces down here. Actually, before I do that, let's jump in here and drop a little roundabout in there. That would look kind of cool right there. How big can we make that? That's probably, I don't know. That might look kind of cool right there. Sure, why not? Okay. Got a little distracted. All right, so now I want to build out some grids down in here. I mean, not grids, but little squares for us to have our office buildings in. And I want to start from a position, turn off the snap to guidelines, from a position, say here, where I come out 1, 2, 3, and then let's do the same thing over on this side. I want to take this road. I'm going to draw that all the way down through here. I just want to bring it all the way through the intersection and then, or through the road. And I'll do the same thing on this side. And then we can come back in and trim those off. Just wanted to get it as straight as possible. And then I want to come in with some high density office towers here. And I'm going to do them in a kind of a funny little pattern here. Let's see if I can do maybe a 2x4. We'll do the 2x4 there. And then I'll just repeat that process on the other side here. I'm not going to be too finicky about which direction those buildings are facing because when it's all said and done, you really probably won't be able to tell anyhow. But what we create here is a nice little kind of a pinwheel formation as you kind of work your way through here. And so all of these towers should end up being very similar and all around the same height. And what they'll do is they'll create the kind of the illusion of a little office complex, a little office park. We can come in here and decorate this up really nicely too. So that could be kind of fun. Oh, there you go. The first of the buildings are starting to spawn in now. All right, so now let's turn our attention to this block behind it. And this one could be kind of fun too. I think what we'll do in this space is I want to add a parking complex, and I was going to do this automated parking building. This thing is just a monster, asset here. And I think if we put it on this side over here, kind of up against the bank, that's going to be really sharp in there. Really a big building. And then over in this area, we need some height. And I say that because as you look at this downtown here, the west side of downtown has really grown up really nicely. Lots of tall buildings in over here, but just, enough space to let everything breathe. We really don't have anything on this side now. We've just dropped in this big automated parking building, which is cool. But I want to have another tall building in this space right outside the bank, if you will. So let's do that. Let's come in here and take maybe a 6x6 high density office building. And let's see, that one's up against there. So I want to maybe bring the 6x6 in over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6x6. There you go. So it won't be directly in alignment with the parking building, but just slightly offset. And then what I can do is I can come in here with some paths and create like a little plaza here that, allows us to connect. Here, let's just go straight across here. So little low density office buildings here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those will all fill in. We got a little corner space there. And you can see this is starting to fill in really nicely too. All right, let's turn our attention to this block right over here now. So now let's turn our focus on these little blocks down here. So, you got a couple of odd shaped ones. Look at this as like a triangle. This has kind of got a little curved feature there. Let's start with the center one because that's the easy one. Let's do some low density office. We're just going to come out here in a 6x6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6x6. Yeah. Oh, let's force this here. There we go. Let's do the same thing on this side. And now I'm going to come in behind it with some high density offices. Maybe come in here in a 3x4 pattern there, and then come back in with a 3x4 right next to it. So we'll get some pops of height in behind there, and we've got a little extra space in there just to kind of, add some decoration and so forth. And then in this space here, it's such an odd little shaped space. I think what I'd like to do is drop a firehouse in there. I think I want to put it right there at that angle back there. And so you see it when you're kind of coming into downtown here. We had a need for, for fire services, and that should fit the bill nicely. We can tidy up around there as well. And then in this space here, let's do something a little different. Let's come in here with some pathways, and I'm just going to come right down here along this edge here. Let's come in with a low density office. Can I do a 4x6? Ah, you can. Nice. And then I'll come in with a 6x6. All right, those blocks should fill in really nicely. We'll let those grow in, and let's turn our attention to this little space here. We've got this space here where the couplet kind of empties out, and I'd like to put a couple of nice office buildings down in here. Maybe some low density office, 6x6 in here. Yeah, that should be pretty nice. Those will frame up our little, boulevard nicely. And then what is this? Is this a 5x6 or is it also 6x6? Okay, good. Let's do the same thing here. And now you'll get a nice view kind of working your way up this couplet here as well. Let's step in over here now and see what we can do. So as you recall, we've got this walking mall that comes down here from our bus station. And I don't want to continue that down all the way down to the, to the shoreline here. So to do that, I want to make sure that I kind of fill this in, because I don't want to destroy my key wall in the process. And then I'm going to grab a pedestrian street, turn off my snap to guidelines, come right in the middle here and just draw that right down here to the shore. And do the same thing over on this side here. And then what we can do during the time lapse is come through and, kind of extend that walking mall pattern there. So let's come in here and let's see. Can I drop in some mixed use European in here? Like maybe a 6x6 there? Yeah, nice. Okay, and let's do the same thing on this side. Well, let's just see how this fills in. Oh, okay. Epicurean garden. Okay, luxurious living spaces atop a high-end restaurant. Ooh, I've got an idea what to do with that. Restaurant. Made for those who appreciate life for its pleasures. Cool. All right, a new signature building. I like it. Let's see here. Well, I was kind of hoping it would... Maybe it's not going to work there. All right, well, let's do this. Let's come back out of here, and we'll put in some more low-density offices on this side, and do the same here. Oh, another signature building. Okay, Coder Park, modern office building where coffee gets converted into game design, art, and code. All right, cool. We'll add that to our collection. Not sure where to put that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, let's see here. And then the next thing I want to do is I wonder if I can put in a police station. Let's see here. Would a police station fit here? Ooh, it does. It barely fits in there. That seems like a pretty good spot for a police station. Let's do that. And then in this block, I want to do something a little bit different. And I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off or not. Let's just give it a try, though. I want to put in some row housing in here, kind of tucked in along this, what's going to be a kind of a park hill behind us. And if I come down here, let's say there, and then come across, and I'm going to pause the game real quick, because when you do that, sometimes these roads will light up as green like that, see? And I want to come in with European-style row homes, and I'll come in here and go, and then we're going to hit play. Let those fill in. Cool. Now let's see if I can come back the other way. Ooh, and those filled in. All right, nice. Cool. All right, so now we've got this little row home neighborhood tucked in back there. And then in here, I think we'll just drop in some more. Well, actually, you know what? I may have to drop in there is a little parking lot. Let's see if a parking lot will fit in there. I hope it does. Oh, it does. It barely fits. Okay, cool. Let's put it right here. We'll offset it by 1. Yeah, and then I can run a path up to there. And then we can turn our attention on this big pier that's running out over here. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this pedestrian road first. And let's turn that off. Let's just come right into that intersection there and drive that straight up here until I run into the street up here. Okay, so now we've got a connection in there. And then let's get a 1-lane, one-way road and kind of keep it framed up against that one there. And then drag this down into there. Would that work? Ooh, that's a big, sharp angle. I don't know that that's going to look good. We'll do the same thing, but we just won't put it quite so far up. I want it to come into this intersection here. Let's see here. If I come from here into there, it's about a 55-degree angle. Let's see if that'll be comparable on this side. 53. I think that's close enough. All right. And now let's turn that around, reorient it so it's coming out. And then I want to come in here with some sidewalks, and I want to reclaim these building squares. Let's do that. And that's going to leave me with a space where I could probably put in a big, there you go, European high-density business. And I want it to be a 6x6. And hopefully we can get a hotel to spawn in there. I mean, that would be ideal. That'd be really nice. All right, so the next thing I want to do is let's come in here and figure out how to get in a unique asset that we just unlocked, right? It was the office building coder park, right? Like this. Okay, I want that to be in this space here, but facing, yeah, here, let me just set it down. It's a pretty cool building. Yeah, you can see that. And I like the way that it's looking out towards this area because I want this to be our little, another little marina, if you will. So the only way I can get it to orient that direction is if let's see, if I have it on a road like this down here, kind of facing this direction. So I'd have to build in another road down along here somewhere. I could create a pedestrian road. And to do that, I'm going to have to come in and reclaim that. And then if I take this guy and drop him in there, at least it keeps it off of this building here. What is this? Spin off. I don't know. I'd like this to be a hotel. It's convenience food. Very nice, but I'm going to pass. We'll let something new spawn in there. And then the next piece I want to drop in is another unique piece that we just picked up. And that was, it was in this mixed residential, Epicurean garden. Let's put that guy down in here. In fact, I want to turn off my snapping. Get him centered up. Yeah, like that. Okay, cool. And that's that restaurant there that we unlocked, Epicurean Garden. Luxurious living spaces atop a high-end restaurant made for those who appreciate life for its pleasures. So I think that could be really fancy. And +4 well-being, +1 attractiveness citywide. That's pretty cool. All right, so this would be like a very exclusive place. Nice. And then in this space down here, let's see, let's get some EU high-density business and go 2x4. Can I put a sidewalk, maybe a pathway down here? Will that mess with my building squares? It does not. That's starting to shape up really nicely. I like that. Okay, cool. I think we're making good space and a good headway in this area. Oh, wait a minute. One more piece. Let's put in a tennis court. You got to have, luxury housing along here. You got to have a nice tennis court. There it goes. Yeah, I think that's going to look really nice in that space. I wonder if I can even fit a park in there too, like squeeze a little tiny park in there, one of those small park. No, too large. A small playground though would fit. How about right there? Yeah, that would be really nice. Okay, cool. All right, this is shaping up really nicely over here. Now down in this space here, I think we need to dot in a bunch of little small offices. Let's just get 2x2s and just start running them through here. 2, 3. Ooh, I like the way that worked out. That was nice. And I think that'll be really nice. We can run some paths right down the middle of them here, just kind of sneaking through in between. Turn off that. Turn off the snap to the side of the building. That's what we got to do. Let's come in here and put some more down in here too. I think we've got opportunity to do that. This will thicken up really well. Okay. Where's our next, ooh, look at how tall this one is. That's cool. All right, where's our next area to attack? I think it's going to be up there by the rail station. Let's make our way over here to the rail yard. And this little space up above it, I want to first start off by deleting all these little sidewalks that we have in here. And then let's delete this parking lot as well. Because what I want to do is I want to come back in here and regrade everything. So I'm going to take an elevation here that is like right out here and try and bring the land up so that it meets the road. Yeah, something like that. So now we'll have a gentle slope that comes right down here, matching what we have with the road. You know, and I think what I want to do here is I want to come back out here and recapture that slope, just like I'm doing here. I want to push that all the way out to this couplet road here. And now we need to take just an access road. I could probably get away with just an alley. And let's go right along here. I'm just going to run this right up along until I intersect here. And then I want to get a pedestrian road. That should probably be good. And let's just grab a parking garage, or a parking lot, I should say. Turn our snaps back on. Get that right in this space here. And is that sitting in there pretty flat? It's not bad. I like it. Okay, so how big a building can I put into this space here now? Well, that's going to be 5. I bet I could actually take this pedestrian road out just a little bit too if I needed to. If I come back in here with sidewalks, I can resecure our building squares. I'm going to just turn off all those snaps. Just try and get as close as I can to these little things down here. And how big a building can I put in there now? Let's get the high density office and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I can do a 6x6. Let's do it. Let's take advantage of that. And yeah, that's going to be kind of cool up there on that hill. I can come back in here now, and well, I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it like that. I can cut that one off though a little bit. Very nice. And now I'm free to come in here and add a bunch of little 2x2 buildings. There you go. Some symmetrical little designs going on in there. I think that should look really nice. That should look really nice. And I need to come down in here. I want to change this. You see all these people that are piling into our little bus thing here. I want to actually bring that bus terminal kind of down around into this area because literally nobody's using that parking lot. So I think we can blow that up and kind of do a little bit better. So what we do is we're going to extend this road out just a little bit. It's a divided 4-lane. And we're just going to come in here and push this out to here, just because it has to go just past the edge of this train station. And then let's come out here with a 1-lane, one-way road. There it goes. All right, cool. Yeah, now I've got a little space in here, and I can relocate this into here. Let's do that. Now everybody start marching down there, and we can upgrade our little road back here so that it's bus only. Okay, so now that little bus station, it just moves everybody a little further down the line here, kind of off of this main street here. That should be good. And then on the other end of it, I want to come over here. Remember, this one's sitting right here, and it's kind of right in this big loop. It creates some congestion in here, especially with the trams running through. So I think what I'd like to do is repurpose this parking lot. Once again, we've got a parking lot that nobody's using. So let's get rid of that. And then I can make a walking path that comes through onto this side here. There. Now we've got our bus station is, at least out of the way of the tram lines that are running through there. And then we can pretty that up later on. So next, I need to come back down here and I want to create some walking bridges. Ooh, that's starting to fill in. I like it. And I want to connect this center roundabout to the areas we just created. And I'm going to come straight across this roundabout. So let's use that as an elevation. And then I'm going to come out 16 meters here. Do the same on this side. And then I can slope those down to the ground. There we go. So it's the same as the other side there. I'll come across now. I want to connect somewhere along here and get connected over into this space here. There, now that connects into this walking street over here. Yeah, and now let's create a bridge that comes over here and connects us back into our train station. To do that, I want to just grab a bridge here, maybe a standard bridge, and I want to come right across here. Let's just see if I can take that all the way across. All right, and then I can bring that down. There we go. And we can upgrade that if we want. Let's just see if I can change that to a covered pedestrian bridge. See what that looks like. Yeah, I think I like that a whole lot better. Feels more secure going over a going over a train track. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to run back out to the shore here. And let's just get rid of these little roads that we had here in as placeholders. And then I want to drop in one of our landmarks. It is the Fountain Plaza. And I think if we center that up on the couplet road and then drop that into the center of this circle, it's going to look really cool. Let's do that. Let's put that there. And now I have to connect it. So I think what I want to use is a pedestrian street. And I think I'll come down from here about 80 meters or so and then draw this straight out. Let's see if this works. And then I want to take a continuous curve and see if we can just kind of come out and around to a point where it connects. Yeah. And then I can come up. Let's see, from here is 32 and then come back over. Yeah, I guess we use 28. That's fine. So there's a little walking connection there. And then now we can come in with tram lines. So let's get our tram lines, and we want to put tram access down here in this part of town. So I'm just going to start coming right down off of this. There we go. And now we can run tram service down from our tram station up here by the train yards all the way down and into this neighborhood and pick up people down here too. Now, lest I forget, I've got one more piece that I want to drop in here. I'm going to come in and demo that walking bridge there. And then I want to go to our tourist attractions and find the observation tower. There it is. That's what I want. And I want to put that right smack in the middle of this roundabout. If I just set that back there with the back edge up against this pedestrian road, that front tiling extends out to hit Daffodil Street. Looks fantastic. All right, now this feels like a great time for us to jump in and do a beautification time lapse. Got a whole bunch of work to do. I need to strip back this, this water line here and reveal some water and our beautiful quay walls. I want to come in and extend this walking mall, or just put in a nice little park down here along where the fountain is. And then I want to come back in here and add some walking paths and try and mirror what I've got going on over here, maybe into this space somewhat. There's a lot more stuff to work on too, but I sure do like the way this is shaping up. So with that being said, why don't you guys sit back, relax, enjoy the time lapse. Let's meet back up here afterwards and we can recap our sculpture. Welcome back, and I give you downtown Pengasas Bay. It's finally here. We did it. And today was the final of our 4 episodes to build out our downtown space. Now, it's not a huge downtown, but the intent was to make it modern and artistic and airy and still have lots of tall buildings in it. And I think we've accomplished all of that. Wow, there's a lot to dive into in this build, so let's just jump right on in. I'm going to start you off with just a little fun one here. A little walking path that takes you out to this little train spotting platform that sits up above the rail line there. Allows you to see the trains coming and going into the station over here. And then also gives you an excellent bird's eye view of the conch shell train tunnel and excellent views of Pengasas Bay as well. A fun little one. All right, so my strategy here in this one, just to build out the business plazas, was very much like the last episode. I wanted to get some tall pops of height in here, but also leave some room for airiness and some other smaller buildings in there. And I'll start by showing you some of the shorter buildings that we put down along the waterfront here. You can see we've got a variety of different small businesses, some little commercial buildings in here, and then I've got the taller buildings nestled in behind it. This first block here is this pinwheel design that we did, where we have all of our buildings kind of at a different angle or different orientation and a variety of different heights in there. So I think that turned out great. It shows you that there's a big business plaza in there, but it's not overwhelming with just a wall of steel and glass. And then we dropped in a variety of different little parks and plazas down in there as well. I even changed up some of the textures down in here on some of the roads just to give it a little, just a little different look. I put some flowers down in that center one as well. Now, if we take a look right behind it, you've got your big automated parking garage, and that overlooks our central bank plaza there. And then, speaking of plazas, we've got this big 6x6 tower that sits here. This is the tallest building in the area down here in this part of town. And I put this nice plaza that kind of wraps its way all the way around the building here with, kind of a checkerboard pattern, if you will, with apple trees and wild bushes. And then, of course, this little half moon design out in front of here just to soften it up a little bit. Let's jump down over here and take a look at our first of 2 bus stations. This one's sitting right by the train depot, and we repurposed this piece of real estate that was used for a parking lot, and it just wasn't getting any use. So I decided to move all of this hustle and bustle with the transfer buses down into this little nook down in here and added some beautiful trees in there, just kind of this gradual elevated look and design using our trees here. And then this nice little decorated bus loop and some bridges that connect you back over to the other side of the train tracks. Now, our second bus station sits up here where the old parking lot was for the National Gallery of the Arts. And you can see we took that out and we put in this nice bus loop. Now, the nice thing about having this loop up here is that it gets all of this crazy bus traffic away from right out in front of the tram station where it was before. You can see there's a lot of people waiting for the transfer shuttles to take them back down to the train station. And there's a lot of people using these sidewalks that are in behind it now that allow them to get to the tram depot. And there's just a little less commotion in the tram depot, meaning you don't have these buses stopping right out in front and delaying your trams. So I think it's a more efficient design and a more elegant design as well. Here comes a bus now. All right, let's turn our focus to this next plaza down here. And this one just sits right up above the train station. You've got these smaller little buildings that are right along this pedestrian road. And that pedestrian road, as you recall, just kind of gradually declines its way down towards the center of town. And then I put in this big, tall 6x6 building in behind it with an orientation that matched that pedestrian road so that it sits offset from the rest of the normal grid. You can see these grids here, 1, 2, 3 there, and then this one's at an offset angle just to kind of break up the space a little bit and give it a little touch of character. Now, of course, we can't just run past the observation tower without mentioning that. You can see that's sitting right there in the center of Pengasas Bay, and I think that just is just a great iconic statement piece right there in the middle of town. Really catches your eye. You certainly can't miss it. It's the tallest building around. And then I came down in here and I added a lot of decorative plantings here, this little checkerboard garden down there, and just filled this in along the way. So your approach coming into this big roundabout is really quite lovely. And as you make your way around, you've got trees that are softening that up as well. Of course, we've got our walking bridges that allow pedestrians to come and go into this center section, without having to deal with traffic. No crosswalks. Okay, so I want to take you down to the coastline here, where I tucked in a little walking trail that comes down from episode 18, which was the west edge, and then past the west end, and then on up the walking hill, and then down to our little row home community down here. Now, these would be really exclusive homes sitting down in here. Not very big, but very upscale, very elegant. And of course, you've got your little tennis court in there in your own parking lot. And I used this kind of the staggered zipper technique on these row homes, and I do love the way that turned out. We've got our police station in here, and then you can see we have a variety of different low-density businesses that are kind of all around this space, just giving this a lot of energy, a lot of fun and activity. Now we put this hotel out here on this pier. I like that. Just kind of stands right out there at the beginning of this pier, and there's a nice drop-off loop that's right out in front here that we decorated up nicely. And then, of course, we've got the first of our two signature buildings out here, and this one is a big restaurant that sits right on the end of the pier. I think it's the ideal place to take that special someone for a special occasion and watch the cruise ships go by out here in Pengasas Bay. And then our second building right in here is Coder Park. And I love the nautical feel about this. It's got this teal color to it. And it just kind of gave me this feel like it's almost kind of a yacht club type building, but a more contemporary style one, so that you can look out over the marina. And here's Fountain Place Marina right here. And I just really like the way that turned out too, because we had this little nook in here, and I thought, let's put in a breakwater out in front of it, just so some of that cruise ship chop is kept out of the the pleasure craft marina. And then we've got some small slips that are in here, perfect for smaller boats, and then larger slips back here for maybe if you have a 60-foot yacht. Now, I kept those docks really close to the water, as you can see here. I just think it seems to be a little bit more realistic. Oftentimes we see these things that are elevated so high, and this just seems, a little bit more realistic. I mentioned we've got a lot of shops that are up and down this walking promenade here, and you can see them kind of all flanking this marina, and it's just kind of a good variety here as well. Now let's go take a look at that walking mall. As you recall from our last episode, we had this big walking mall that we created, and it comes all the way down here, and we just extended that now. We dropped that down into this space here, and then we added some beautiful gardens that kind of are in keeping with what we had done previously. And then it wraps right down and around this corner to our top 5 design element. It's Fountain Place Park. Yeah, this is our big water fountain, our fountain plaza that sits out here. And boy, this is just a really nice looking piece out here. I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit so you can see here. Now, as I take a look up here, you can see the fountain just sits into that little curved space nicely, and you've got this nice approach that makes your way up to the observation tower. I think it makes for just a very appealing setting in here. All right, so let's just jump in a little bit closer here. The fountain itself is really kind of in this space here, but I extended it. I added some additional walking sidewalks along here and up here as well to make some concentric circles. And then the trees that are native in that are the London plane. So I took those and I put some out here as well into this next tier, and then also into the third tier as well. So it just gives this fountain the look and feel that it's much larger than it really is. And I extended those sidewalks out so they meet with the pedestrian road. You can see people start making their way down along that as well. You can see we've got our tram service running through here. So now this whole area of town is connected via the tram. I put in this little garden here to mirror the circular nature of the fountain. And then, of course, we've got our twin hurricanes here. I'm always looking to add nautical-themed elements to Pengasas Bay. And as I tried to figure out what to do with this space, I thought, let's make a couple of hurricane-looking sculptures in there. And so you can see the big bands of the hurricane as those rotate. 1, 2. There you go. Well, there you have it. That's our episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed making this one. This really feels good to kind of put the cherry on the top for Pengasas Bay again. It was, 4 good episodes to do the downtown, and I'm looking forward to our next build. Now, just as a reminder, we are a small but growing channel thanks to your support. I can't thank you enough for all the support you guys have shown us, and we're looking forward to hitting our next milestone, which would be 10,000 subscribers. Hard to believe. And if you saw something that you liked today, make sure to leave us a comment below. And while you're at it, be sure to chip away at that like button and hammer that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest here in Pengasas Bay and our Grand Vanillica series as well. All right, well, with that, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell. And until next time, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.